Hi everybody, welcome to Knitting Podcast Annijuuti Knits. This is episode 9 and my name is Annina. I come to you from the west coast of Finland, place called Kokkola, where I live with my husband and my 2 boys. And this is my corner on YouTube where I present my knitting and I talk about my designing. And welcome if you are here for the first time, and welcome back if you have been here before. I'm so happy to see people coming back time and time again, and it really warms my heart to hear or to read all of your lovely comments, and I really enjoy interacting with you guys. I've been doing this now for a couple of months and I'm so happy that I started to do this, and I've got to know so many nice people, and this knitting community here on YouTube and on Instagram is just so amazing and so supportive, and yeah, I'm happy that I took the leap and started filming my own podcast. Thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed. I have gained a lot of subscribers, and it makes me feel really good that people actually like to see what I'm showing and what I'm rambling about here on YouTube. You can also find me on Instagram as Annijuuti Knits and on Ravelry as Annijuuti, which is probably useless because I'm really not active on Ravelry. I haven't updated my projects or anything else, so yeah, let's get started. Like the title said, today I will have 5 new cast-ons. I have 3 finished objects and a couple of whips that I want to show you. So let's see how we can fit everything into this one episode. I'm gonna start with what I'm wearing. This is my second ever finished sweater. I can come closer. This is, I would say, this is the biggest learning curve what I've accomplished in my garment knitting career, so to say. So this is the first sweater that I ever started working on, and because I was such a novice, I didn't really know anything about the materials or the yarn weight or whatnot. So I just wanted to make this pattern called Riddari, which is, I think it's a paid pattern now. It was a free pattern when I started making it, and I used an English version, but it's been translated to a lot of different languages. It's an Icelandic pattern that everyone is making, but I made mine in fingering weight yarn. So the first thing was that I had to calculate the stitch counts and all that, and it's worked bottom up, so it's kind of difficult to try to guess how many stitches you need. I made a little swatch, but I didn't block it, or I didn't wet block it. So as you might know, it didn't really tell me anything needed. So the thing was that I started it from the ribbing, from the bottom ribbing, and I made like, I don't know, 5 centimeters, 6 centimeters, and I tried it on and I was like, oh my god, this is so big. So I had to take a couple of pattern repeats out, and I started working it, and it took me months and months and months to make. When I finally reached the arm or the sleeve separation, so I had made the sleeves and the body, and then I started making the yoke. Obviously the pattern is for I think it's for DK or even worsted weight yarn, so I have quite a few more pattern repeats on mine. And when I was reaching towards the end, it was very clear that the yoke is not deep enough, so I was adding some color work that I made up, and as you can see, it's a very wide neckline. I had to make it twice. The first one was very wide, and because I was making a garment for the first time, I had no idea about short row shaping or anything else. So yeah, so this is made from sock yarn. It is Grundl hot socks pearl, so it has cashmere in it, so it's a wool, superwash wool, and I think it's a polyamide and then a little bit of cashmere, and it's stretched. When I finally got the sweater done, I wet block it, and now I will stand up again. So the hem just got super wide and long. Luckily the yarn is very airy, it's soft, it's fingering. I made it with 3mm needles, so it's kind of sort of a loose gauge. But yeah, this sweater is not appropriate, or I don't feel comfortable wearing it out and about. So the whole last winter I was wearing it under a jacket when I went to walks. You know, in Finland it gets really cold, so this sort of a layering piece, it's kind of necessary, and this is nice and light, but it gives a really nice warmth. And here's another problem that I have: the sleeves are too short, or they were long enough, and after blocking they come all the way, but when you're using your arms, the fabric just shortens and it's too short. It also has some pilling on the sleeves, but I don't care because it's just a layering piece, and that's how it's going to be. So this is my second ever finished sweater. So I started another one after starting this, and I worked it from top down, so it was much easier to try on, and also that became too big, but I'm not going to talk about that today. So yeah, that's that. So I told you that I have 3 finished objects today to show you, and the first one is something that I'm really proud of. They were nearly finished. I've shown you this in the first episode of my podcast career and here they are. These are my Tuulen värit socks, stranded colorwork socks, and all I had left was the foot of one sock. And I have started these socks in January 2020. That's when I started, that's when I designed this pattern, and unfortunately the length of the sock is really awkward, so it hits me right on the widest part of my calf, and it's not really staying up that well. So after I finished one sock, I lengthened the pattern with like 5 centimeter pattern. So in the final pattern, there's one more pattern. There's like these arrows in the ankle so that it rises a bit further up. And this pattern you can only find, unfortunately, in Finnish, because it was my first ever released pattern, and I really didn't know about making patterns. So I just in my Facebook group Annijuuti Knits, you can find the pattern for 2 different yarn weights. So for sport weight, like these are, and for DK or worsted. And it's a free Ravelry download for the heavier yarn. I have been thinking about translating the pattern in English, but then I think I'm over this pattern already. So if you know how to make socks, there is a whole chart for the leg and for the foot. If you know how to make a heel, if you know how to make a toe, and you can make any cuff you like, you can grab the pattern in Ravelry, and I think you can work it out, because it's just a colorwork chart. So charts are international. So even if you don't know Finnish, you can definitely make these if you like. So that was my finished object number 1. 1.5 years in the making. Finally, it's done. I'm so happy about it. And then 2 other finished objects, and those are part of my 5 new cast-ons. So I have to talk a little bit more about this knitting frenzy that I went into. I went to a physiotherapist a week and a bit, and until that I was kind of moderate with my knitting. I was just doing a little bit here and there, and I was very cautious with my hand. But when I went to see the physiotherapist, she was like, yeah, knitting is great. It allows you to move your wrist, and it actually prevents the scar tissue to form. So it's very good to keep your wrist in the move. So knit as much as you want. And I was like, oh my God. So I have this permission to knit like all day, every day. So I'm still on a sick leave for another 2 weeks. I still can't lift anything heavy, but the movement is sort of back. And yeah, so after she gave me that permission to knit as much as I wanted, I think I went a little bit crazy. I couldn't decide what I wanted to knit, and I wanted to knit everything and anything, and so I did. So I knew that for the winter I needed some hats for my boys. I had already bought some yarn. I had shown it to you, and so I started this beanie. I don't know. It's really dark outside. I have to have lights on here. It's really rainy, as you can see. So it's kind of dark outside. Anyways, so I started this beanie. I had made one before. I took it here for reference. So this one. My son was wearing this on his 1-year photo shoot, and this beanie is made in fingering weight, just pure superwash merino wool, hand dyed. And I knew that I wanted something thicker, so I used this where did I put the ball of yarn? Peruvian Highland wool. It's Filk Lana. It is 100% wool, and it's really nice and soft. So I made this hat. Okay, so did I do a swatch? Of course I didn't. And this hat is too small for my younger son. So this is my gauge watch. And luckily I have people in my life that I can gift it to. So this is a tad small for my 2-year-old, but I have someone in mind that will be getting this for Christmas. So that's actually not a problem. So this is my gauge watch now. So I blocked it. I properly measured my stitch count and did some calculations. And because I had to do for both of my boys, so I also created the hat from newborn to a large adult, or to an adult size large. So I actually wrote a pattern for this. It doesn't really have anything other special except for the, I don't know how much you can see. It's only the decreases are a little bit different. So it's instead of going like from 4 sections, it narrows down from 3. And even though it's a very basic hat pattern, but because I created it from a very small newborn head to like 61 centimeters, like adult size, I was thinking I will publish it as a pattern. And there are so many beautiful basic, really basic beanie patterns, but this is going to be a pattern very soon. If you want to test it, make sure you follow me on Instagram, because I will be posting a test call very soon. I just have to get some pictures, and then I will be getting a test call out. So this is my second finished object. It's Beanie Number Two, and this is now for my older son. And for this I used Knitting for Olive Merino, and here you can see this is colorway Dusty Olive. And because this is very light fingering, or it's like 250 meters per 50 grams, I had 2 balls of it, so I held it in double. And this beanie took me 60, I think it was like 65 grams, and the first one took 55 grams. So yeah, I will be adding into the pattern different suggestions about the yarn. You can use 2 fingering weights held double, or I was thinking I have this same Knitting for Olive merino in other color, and I have a matching silk mohair. So I was thinking maybe I will try to make one for myself, which is holding a strand of silk mohair and a strand of merino wool, and I will hopefully get into the same gauge with those yarns. So yeah, now I have hat for my older boy, and then this yellow mustard wool will become a hat for my younger son. So yeah, that's what I'm doing next, maybe. So those were all of my finished objects. Then I will move on to the whips. And like I said, I went into a little bit of a knitting frenzy. So I have been working on everything, and I will just quickly go through for those things that I have already shown you in the podcast before. I haven't really made a huge amount of progress on anything. There's been like 4 to 5 different projects going through my hands each day, so I've been having really hard time to focus, and that's why I have been working on a lot of different things. The first thing that I will show you is something that is making a comeback, and it's my husband's painting bricks sweater. I have been working on the sleeves. Now they are separate because I wanted him to try it on. So this is where I was last time that I showed it to you. So I've just made 4 colored stripes on each sleeve, and yeah, I'm not really going into details with this one. I have talked about this in my couple of my first episodes, so if you are interested, go back and have a look when I talk about this. It's 100% alpaca wool, and it's really soft and squishy, and it doesn't really itch at all. So I think when I will finish it, it will be a nice warm sweater for the winter. All right, I'm getting hot in this sweater, but I don't care. It's like 13 degrees outside, and it's very rainy, so it really feels like fall already, and I'm really looking forward having the fall arriving, and that means more warm knits. And actually I have been working on my warm knits throughout the whole summer, but anyway. All right, so this is something that I showed you in the previous episode, and I'm just quickly showing it to you again. This is my Pohjolan emäntä sweater, and as you can see, it's less crinkly now. So what I did, I finished the color work, and then I did like 2.5, maybe 1 inch worth of stockinette, and then I blocked it. I wanted to block it to see if the pattern evens out, and as you can see, I think it did beautifully. It's not so crinkly anymore. It's very soft, pillowy, and actually I was trying it on. Maybe I'll stand up. So I think it will be quite a nice fit. I think this is the length that I'm going for, so that the pattern stops right here at my bust, and then it's just plain stockinette on the body. This pattern has like a V-neck, but I was thinking that I'm not very comfortable with V necks because I'm quite busty, so I'm not really enjoying that fit when you're like bending down, and I think it highlights the bust area in the wrong way. So I think I'm opting for a rounded neckline. But yeah, so I made a little bit of progress with this one, and then I got bored and started some other projects. The next whip is something that I also showed it to you last time, and it's my goddaughter's sweater, Kaikuja mini, my own pattern. So what I've done, I have only done like 8 centimeters of the body, plain stockinette in the round. And if I would have just focused maybe on this one, it probably would be ready, definitely would be ready. But because I have been struggling with like an inspiration overload, so yeah, I think the thing is with my knitting that I always want to make that I always want to work on the project that inspires me the most. And because knitting is such an important hobby of mine, I always want to make stuff that makes me feel good. So I'm not really trying to force myself to do anything that I don't feel like doing. So I always pick on a project that inspires me at that time. Something that I wanted to show you is the label. I've sewn a label on. It says Annijuuti Knits. I think it was last winter when I decided to order these tags. I actually have them here. So it's a ribbon of different. It's a ribbon of tags. It has, I think it has 100 labels, and that's because, like we all sometimes struggle to find which is the wrong and which is the right way to wear the clothes, especially these kids' clothes when they don't necessarily have the short row shaping, or if they do, it's not very visible. So this is going for a 7-year-old, so I think it's easier for her to put it on when there's a tag marking the back, and I think it's a nice little touch. I ordered these online. It was a Danish brand, I think. Ikast etiketti in Finnish. They delivered to, I think, all the Nordic countries. They had their website in Finnish and Danish and Swedish and all that. So yeah, I think I paid like 20 euros for the whole bunch of these labels, and you were able to choose your own font and the color of the ribbon, and yeah, so it was kind of fun to make your customized labels. I will link the shop down below if you are interested. Unfortunately, I think they only deliver to Nordic countries, but there's a million of these label makers around the world, so this is a nice little touch, I think, to add on your clothes. So yeah, that was that. Then I think we reached to the point when I can show you the rest of my new cast-ons and the ones that I got so inspired about. And yeah, I'm starting with a test knit. I signed up into the test knit for these mittens. They are called Pohjolan, and it will be a Finnish pattern. It's not really a good fit with my watch, but they have these bubbles, very nice and fun. They were really fun to make. This is for a Finnish online store for Finnish yarns. So this pattern will only become in Finnish, I think. But yeah, very nice fitting mitten. And the best thing I think in this test knit is that I got to use yarn older than my oldest son. So I think I've had this DK wool. It's Nordic wool by Novita, and I've had these two odd little, I used this yarn for one project and I had like 70 grams of it left. So I thought that it will be enough for the mittens. The pattern said that it takes about 70 grams of a DK weight yarn, and because I'm a tight knitter, I knew that I will probably be fine with using this 70 grams that I had left. So here's the second. It's just barely started. I'm really hoping that the lighting is not so bad that I'm hoping you can still see something. I was struggling to find a location that you can actually see anything, so I had to come in front of the window. Normally or lately I've been filming either on the balcony or just behind the camera on the couch, but that is a very dark spot at the moment, so I had to come in front of the window. So I know it's a bit difficult lighting when the window is like right next to me or a little bit even behind me. So anyway, so this is a project that I have to work on. So next time I will see you, this pair will be finished and it will go into my gift box for Christmas. This is definitely not my color. I'm not very a gray person, so it's a perfect gift for someone. So that's that. And then if you follow me on Instagram, you have probably seen my post about my wool leggings. I had this idea already last winter. I think it was the beginning of this year when it was really cold, like minus 20 degrees, so Celsius. So I wanted to have like a pair of woolly leggings, but I knew that I didn't have the time at the moment. So now when it's turning into fall, I think the time when I would need these would be like around Christmas or like January, February. So I started a pair of scrap yarn leggings, and this is where I've got. So, oh, sorry, there you go. Is it too dark? I can't really see. There. So it's a marled effect. I had seen so many of those Stephen West marled mania leggings, and that's where I based my idea. But I'm very specific how my clothes fit because, you know, I'm a seamstress and I've been sewing clothes for a decade, and so I know how I want them to fit me. And I didn't think that the pattern would give me the fit that I want. So I was making a little bit of research, and I found that Drops Design has also some woolly legging patterns. And I actually took this pattern called Rhoda, I think it was that, and I based the stitch count on these for that pattern, but it had like 2x3 ribbing on the waist, and I wanted it to be snug and tight, so I made 1x1 ribbing, and I wanted the ribbing already to have short row shaping. So as you can see, when I fold it like this, it's like 3 centimeters longer on the back, and these Drops leggings had these panels on the side that had like was it like 1x3 ribbing. So I was thinking of mimicking that detail, but I'm making it a little bit narrower, and I'm using 1x3 ribbing on the side, just 21 stitch repeat, so it's not very overpowering. So my plan with these leggings is that I am just going to wing it, and I am using 2 strands held double. I have merino wool, 100% superwash merino, and then I have this very basic fingering weight sock yarn. I think this is probably opal, maybe opal or regia, I don't know how to pronounce that. So sock yarn, wool and polyamide, and then merino. And I actually dug out all my littlest scraps. Sorry for the crinkling already beforehand. And here you have lots of different little tiny balls of yarn. So I'm thinking of using all, like, throughout the whole legging, so that I have the sock yarn, which is a little bit more woolly, and then a merino, so it will create like throughout the whole thing. Even though the merinos are, some of them are with nylon, they still feel more soft. So I will hold double the whole time, marling whatever little tiniest scraps I have left, and we'll see how it will turn out. But at the moment, all my 4mm needles are occupied. So as you have probably seen, in most of my knits, I'm keeping the stitches on these cables. So these are the Knitting Barber cords, so that you can slide the stitches resting. So because I only have one set of interchangeable needles, and I don't have so many cables for those, I think I have 4 different ones. So I'm using these cords to hold my my whips, because I'm constantly changing the different whips that I'm working on. So those are really handy. You can just put the cord into the tip of your needle, and it sticks. So then you can just pull the stitches to the cord to rest. So even with the sleeve stitches, I'm just letting the cord hang. It doesn't slide off, and it's very handy. I have 3 package of those cords. They each have 3, 2 small ones and 1 bigger one. This was not paid promotion. I just really love them. So yeah, for a serial cast owner as I am, this is a perfect way to free your needles. So I'm rambling. So what I was saying, that those woolly leggings have to wait until I finish something, or decide to slide it on the cords. But the problem is that now all my cords are also taken. I have so many whips that all the cords are also occupied. One final whip, and this is a new design, or design in the making. When I had my surgery, the next day was so painful, and the way that I kept myself occupied was to color some charts, and this is what I came up with. So this is going to be a colorwork yoke. It's going to be like a swancho, so not a sweater. It comes a bit lower, so it's definitely an outer layer. I was hoping to get it finished by the fall, so I can use it as a jacket type of affair. And this is made in Drops Charisma, which is 100% superwash wool. It's very affordable. I ordered this on sale. It was really expensive. It was really inexpensive. It was less than €2 a ball. It has 100 meters in 50 grams ball. So the whole sweater quantity was like €23, which is very, very affordable. I have so much yarn that to buy sweater quantities of nice luxury yarns, it's not always possible. And because these are somewhat experiments when I'm designing something, especially when it's something that has like a unique or a new form to me, I don't want to use, I was actually looking for some Finnish yarns, these lovely Finship wool yarns, and the cost would have been like €150 for the whole sweater quantity. So I wanted to try it out first, and if it becomes nice, it's still a nice yarn. I'm not saying that this is not a nice yarn. It was just cheaper and it fit for my purpose well. So one thing I have to say, I ordered instead of the yellow, I ordered a beige yarn. And like, what was I thinking? I'm not a beige person, like not at all. And it arrived and I was like, what? Like this is not my color scheme. So I had this leftover for my ranunculus sweater. It's a bit thicker yarn, but I don't think you can really tell in the finished fabric that it's thicker. I think you can very easily mix and match different yarn weights, even in color work, if you just keep in mind, if you have a thicker yarn, how to hold the yarn and to keep them in order. I will always keep the thickest yarn on the bottom of the bunch so that it doesn't really stand out more than it already is standing out. So I think it's working really well, and I didn't have to buy because I had, and I can get that used up, which is great. So there's more to come when I will get the yoke done and maybe separate the sleeves, and we'll see if my idea works or not. But my hope is that it's going to be a very long yoke and then narrow sleeves and kind of a wide fit on the body, so it will be more of a mixture of a sweater and a poncho. We'll see. Those were all my whips. I have a couple more things that I want to show you. The first thing is some sewing. I don't often show my sewing because I'm not really considering sewing as my hobby, since I'm a seamstress, and I have actually I went to school for that. I've worked as a seamstress and I've gotten paid to do so. So I don't really see it as my hobby. It actually has been more of a work, and for me it's something that I do to, dress my kids and myself. So I haven't really wanted to show my sewing because I do that quite regularly, and I'm not really I'm not considering it as my hobby. But since this is a knitting crafty podcast, I want to show you something that I did yesterday because they are just so cute. I bought this fabric, these lovely little bears, and I had to make a shirt for both of my boys. They have only 1 year and 9 months apart, so the sizing is not so severely different. And I just made like white cuffs so that I can fold them over for more, like a little bit longer lifespan. So because kids are growing so fast, I had to throw, after summer I've been cleaning the closets and the everything in the house. Like, I've been so bored being home all the time, not being able to like do a lot of stuff except for knitting. So I've been cleaning and clearing the clutter and going through all the clothes. So I had to throw like a huge pile of clothes away. I actually took them to the secondhand market. I have a table there, and yeah, so I bought one new fabric. I have still a lot at home, so I just bought one. This is nice and I just love the colors. They're so fall, like these browns and this green and the beautiful bears. So I have something new for my boys as well. So those were my little sewing stuff. One last thing, that is acquisitions, and this time I don't have a lot. I actually do have a bunch of yarn, but it's kind of a little bit different type of purchase that I did this time. One other thing in my acquisitions part is that I won a giveaway on Instagram, and that's what I'm going to show you first. So I won this hand-dyed skein of this lovely orangey red speckly yarn, and with that I got some stitch markers, a lovely little set of 4 stitch markers and a progress keeper. So this was something that one crafty person had dyed herself, and I really like these kind of vibrant colors, so I think it was a perfect fit. I think I'm gonna make socks out of this for myself because I have newly discovered this this love for thinner socks. That actually brought something to my mind, what I wanted to show you, and this is my woolen socks. And I'm not very big sock user or woolly sock user myself, so I don't really wear out my socks. But now that I was going through my cupboards and I was washing some woolen items, I discovered that 2 of my socks have holes. And first of all, I'm really lazy with my knits. Especially for the socks, I just chuck them into the laundry with everything else. I know it's not something you're supposed to do, but mostly the socks that I've made for my husband are for this durable sock yarns that you can put into the wash, and so I'm very lazy what comes to that. So the pair that I wanted to show you, this is my second ever pair of stranded colorwork socks, and this was a scrap project, and the mustard or the yellow yarn is not sock yarn. It's 100% merino yarn, and it's not good for socks. So here you can see
it's completely worn out from
the bottom of my foot, and I don't know what to do with them. I don't want to throw them out. I don't want to darn them because the whole top portion of the sock, or the toe part, is like the yellow is this merino yarn that I know it's not going to hold. So I was thinking maybe to frock the toe portion and then to make the whole toe again with something else. Maybe that's something that I will do. Yeah, so both of these socks, the other one actually has like a bigger hole. That's how I discovered that they have holes, but it's just because of the yarn. It's not made for socks, so that's what you get. Even though I haven't really worn them that much, every now and again, just like half an hour in the evening when sometimes my feet gets cold, and yeah. So the second pair that I found is something that I did last Christmas. I had this little advent calendar made by a knitting friend from Instagram. She sent me like these four advent packages that had yarn in them. So I made from these four, I used up 3 of those 20-gram skeins, and I made these socks. And this is my first pair of fingering weight socks that I've ever made, and I was using 2.5 millimeter needles, and I think I was using 64 stitches, and that was too much for myself. I've been also wearing these in shoes, but the problem is that they are very loose. They will they are not staying on properly. They will, like, if I'm sitting on a couch, I usually bend my knees and tuck them under me. So the socks are always like, how do you say it, like rolling in my feet. So I noticed that it's very like transparent on the top here, so it's nearly broken. I don't know if I should darn this or just I don't know, because they don't really fit well on me. So I'm not sure if I should. Both of them have like this very translucent bottom, so they are very close of getting worn out. But yeah, I don't know. They don't really fit me well. The gauge is definitely too loose. After doing these, I discovered that I have to take a little bit smaller needles to get like a tighter gauge for socks. And after that, I have used a little smaller needles for these fingering weight socks. I really like wearing these thin socks myself, and so the goal for this year is to make a few pairs for myself with using just fingering weight yarn, and I'm doing this box of socks this year, so I'm hoping to get at least like 5 pairs for myself, and the rest I will gift away. So yeah. So this was on the side note. I was already going into acquisitions, but that was something that I wanted to talk to you about. Okay, so my mom and my sister and me, we went to this yarn store. It's an hour away from here. It's called Lankava, and that was a huge yarn store. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen me putting some footage from this yarn shop. And they carry Finnish yarns, they carry German, Icelandic, Norwegian, all sorts. And it's like it's almost like this warehouse type of thing. So they have a loads of different yarns. And first of all, it looked like I'm going to leave there empty-handed. And close to the checkout or close to the cashier, there was this find, like this. It was this box where they're selling out stuff like basically for free. So what I found was these nameless cones. I did the wrap test, and this yarn is worsted. It's worsted weight. It's 100% wool. It's very woolly. I'm thinking to maybe like to knit a swatch and to block it to see how much it softens. But I'm thinking this is actually a nice sweater yarn. It's either Finnish or Norwegian. I'm not sure which one. It doesn't have any labels, and they didn't really know. But it feels really similar to the Norwegian yarns they had there. So it's a bit more prickly than the Finship wool yarns are. So it's either a mixture of Finnish breeds, or then it might be a Norwegian yarn as well. So this cone is 800 grams, and if it's worsted weight, it is like, I think it's like how does it go? I didn't do the math beforehand, as you can see. So 800 grams, so it's like 1600 meters of, so easily sweater quantity and more. And then another one, which is also, it feels really similar to the yellow Bricks and Little that I have, and it looks really similar to this one. So this is the Canadian yarn, and this has similar ply, and this cone is 1 kilo, and it's also like worsted aran weight, and they both are 100% wool, that I know, but from where and which breed, have no idea. But I thought these neutral colors work really well for dyeing as well. So because I have those acid dyes quite a bit, I might dye some of it. And those cones both were €2 a cone. €2. So it's basically, it's like, take them for free. So I couldn't leave them there. Either I'm knitting them into garments, into sweaters, or if I don't, I might make a blanket or a pillow out of them. And then there was this one skein of, this is most likely Finship wool because it's very much softer than those two. It's fingering weight, 2 ply, and it's really soft. This is also €2, and this is, I think, it smells really sheepy. So I don't think this has been washed too many times. It kind of feels like it has like lanolin still left. So yeah, this is really soft. You can make it into a shawl, or I don't know. I just couldn't leave these there. So this was also €2, more fine Finship wool. And yeah, so a little bit different types of acquisitions. Those were €6 worth of wool, and I got like nearly 2 kilos of wool. Yeah, that's about it I think I've rambled enough. One more thing that I want to say, I want to recommend a podcast for you to watch. I have been doing this now for in the last couple of my episodes, and I really like to give a shout out to podcasts that I enjoy watching myself. And if you guys can find something new to watch. So this time I'm going to mention Martyn from Knit635 blog. He is hilarious. Like, I found him when West Knits was hosting this Slipstravaganza mystery knit along, and I wasn't really watching podcasts at the moment or at that time, and because I was participating on the knit along, even though I didn't finish mine, I found Martyn, and he is just amazing. Like, he is crazy like me with all his different whips, and he has a monthly roundup videos, and he also makes these project vlogs about, like, he had this Slipstravaganza, which was an amazing series, and he's done some crochet videos from Toft, and yeah, he is just so great. He's so much fun to hang around with. Like, he's so fun. I really recommend for you to go and see his podcast. It's something you probably will enjoy. I do enjoy that a lot. So he's one of the first people I've ever watched, and he is one of those people that I will always watch whenever he uploads a video. So I will be first up watching his newest videos. That's everything that is everything for today. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really appreciate everyone behind the screen there, and I'm really happy that you want to spend your time with me, and that makes me so happy to read all of your comments. And one question that I had for you today, it's according to the sock matter that I have. Do you darn your socks, or do you throw them away? And if you do darn, what do you think is the best technique? Do you like duplicate the stitches, or what kind of technique do you use? I have never darned a sock before, so I will happily hear your comments about that matter. All right, that's everything for now, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time, I'm guessing. Have a great day, enjoy your day, and happy knitting. Bye!